live?
Are we live?
If you guys can see both of us, why don't you comment to say that, hey, I'm here.
Okay, yeah, we're live.
Hey, nice.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hello, good evening. Well, we certainly hope that some of you are on your way to dinner. If you're catching up with some friends, and you're also taking some time to tune in to us, and we really thank you for that. So my name is Dave, and I'm from the liquor shop, and this is Brendan. Some people might call him the genius, so but I'll let Brendan take it away from here.
Perfect. Thanks very much for that lovely pun, Dave. I appreciate it very much. Good evening, everyone. You just saw Dave from the liquor shop, and thanks very much for tuning in today. We hope that if you're going to dinner, on your way to dinner, you're not driving. Hope you're able to enjoy this comfortably. Hello, everyone. My name is Brendan. I am the gin brand ambassador for Pernod Ricard here in Singapore. And we're just here to show to you and talk to you a little bit more about these lovely products we have right in front of you. We're going to do a little bit of tastings. We're going to make some cocktails, just do something a little bit fun.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Also, this is 100% live. It's not pre-recorded. So if you want to ask Dave any questions,
feel free to comment right below.
Exactly. Perfect. So, without further ado,
should I start with the products?
Yeah, why not? Go for it. Go for
Okay.
it.
So, as you can see, there are 4 funky little bottles over here. So I'll just run through some of the product selection that we're actually looking at. So the one over on the right is actually the originale. So that's where the original flavor profile of the gin is actually covering in terms of the range of products. The next one is actually the lemon. If you like something with a citrus burst, I think that's a good product for you. The next one would be the Rosa. Rosa has a lot of grapefruit essence, so I think that would help if you're looking for something a bit more sour. And of course, the last one would be Con Arancia. So that's one with the blood oranges, all of which are actually Italian-based. And I'll let Brendan share a bit more about the brand and what's so special about Malfy.
Perfect. Well, Dave, if you're ever looking for a job, I'm sure Pernod Ricard's looking for another gin brand ambassador. But yes.
Why not, right?
Perfect. Well, thanks very much, Dave. So, like Dave was saying earlier, we're going to start off by tasting a little bit of the Malfy Originale, which is their base flavor. And funnily enough, actually, when the company first started in 2016, the first flavor that they launched was the Con Limone. And then after, I guess, they wanted to show they could be a little bit more versatile. It doesn't need to be flavored. Okay. They came up with the Originale. So without further ado, I'll just pour out a little bit for each of us.
Sure, sounds good. Yeah. So, while you're pouring this out, may I ask, what goes into making a good gin or gin in general?
Oh, that's a very good question. So, I guess in this day and age when there's so many different types of spirits,
thank you.
No, my pleasure. You need to know what goes into what, right? So I guess you could say gin is it's a bit crude to say it, but gin's almost like a flavored vodka. Because what you do is you take your base alcohol, can be made from whatever, and then you can take a whole bunch of different botanicals or herbs or spices and whatever, and you redistill it. But the key ingredient is supposed to be juniper. So that is what makes gin taste like gin. It kind of smells like a Christmas tree. That's the best way to describe it.
So it's kind of a fundamental ingredient.
Exactly. So how you get those flavors in is you do a little bit of an infusion, and after you do distillation. Right. So those flavors come out into the gin. Okay. Yeah, without further ado, as they say in Italy,
Ganbei. Oh, ganbei. It really smells refreshing. I think that's one of the key takeaways.
Yeah. So I think that with Malfy Originale, so what they do that's a little bit more different in terms of the distillation is they use something called vacuum distillation.
Okay.
So when they distill the alcohol, it's under pressure. So normally alcohol distills at above 70 degrees Celsius, about 71 degrees Celsius. Under pressure, it can distill at about maybe 60 degrees Celsius. Okay. So being at a lower temperature allows them to extract the flavors from the botanicals.
Okay. So in that sense, the flavor profile is a lot more concentrated.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say concentrated, but I guess it's a bit more of gentle flavor. Okay. So, it's a little bit sweet on the palate. The lemon doesn't come through, because we're not having the limone, but the citrus.
Citrus afternotes.
Exactly. Yeah. And I feel like, this Chinese New Year, if you're looking for something that's interesting and maybe a little bit bored of the regular like Scotch or whiskey. One second, guys.
Yeah, I think we're having a bit of technical issues, so we'll get this sorted in just a bit. Should we go without?
All right,
Can you guys hear us?
if any of you can hear us, why don't one of you fire away in the comments? No, it's okay. All right, cool. Well, it looks like you guys can hear us, and you know what? We're live, so of course it's going to happen. So, like I was saying earlier, for Chinese New Year, if you'd like to introduce something that's a little bit more different, why don't you have a look at the range of Malfy Gins that are available exclusively via the liquor store. So we're gonna taste through each one, and later I'm gonna also show Dave how to make a few cocktails with it.
Sounds good. Sounds
Alright,
good.
so actually now it's a perfect segue that since we've already enjoyed a little bit of Malfy Originale, I'm going to show you Dave actually how to make a little bit of Smash, which is a style of cocktail.
So this is nothing similar to a gin and tonic.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And also for those of you who just tuned in, why not you invite some of your friends, press that share button, link them in, and you know what? Like, you know, they say in Singapore, good things must share.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, if there are any guys out there hoping to impress your girlfriends over Valentine's Day, even your wives, you know, anyone, it's a good, you know, fun activity that you can have either as a couple or, you know, just for impression's sake. So, yeah, feel free to join us, and if you have any questions, you know, feel free to comment right below as well. We'll try our best to answer as many questions as we can. Either Brendan or myself will be looking at the questions, and we'll give you our answers to the best of our abilities.
Perfect. So right now I'm going to be showing all of you how to make a cocktail called Smash. Well, we were supposed to use basil, but unfortunately Smalls are out of it today, so we're going to swap basil for rosemary, which goes just as well actually. So normally when you're making a lot more sour cocktails, you've got a few different components there. Yep. So you have your sweetener, you have your acid, and you have your spirit. Okay. So today the sweetener we're going to be using just regular caster sugar. We're going to be using some fresh lemon juice. We're going to be using Malfy Originale, but on top of that, we're also going to be using some rosemary to add a bit more depth of flavor, a bit more of like a herbal note to it. Okay, so that means this drink is mainly not really sparkling, I would say, because there's no there's no soda,
exactly.
Cool. But we will have a drink later that has some soda water.
Okay, perfect.
So just like in life, we need a little bit of sweetness. Yep. Some cocktails need a bit of balance with a bit of sugar.
You sound like someone with a lot of experience.
not like that experience. But anyways, we're going to be adding in, it's up to you how sweet you want it. Okay. This super long bar spoon seems like very intimidating, but you can just use a regular teaspoon. So I'm going to put in about 2.5 teaspoons, so it's a nice little bit of balance.
This is quite a fair bit of sugar.
It looks like it's quite a fair bit, but you know, it helps to balance out everything actually.
Okay, so the acidity as well as the alcohol. Okay.
Exactly. So next we're going to be measuring in about 25 ml or 20 ml of lemon juice. So for some of you wondering why do we need to measure, kind of just like aggravation or it. One second guys, I think some of you may have trouble hearing us. Yeah. So you know what, I think why not?
Alright, we're right back where we started.
Yeah, we're going to speak a little bit louder so all of you can hear us a little bit better now.
If you can't hear us, please feel free to share in the comments as well. We're going all Dante over here. And I don't know why I said all Dante, but anyway, our natural voices, and then we're going to project it as much as we can, as loud as we possibly can as well. So I see you have a pizza cutter over here.
So that's actually not a pizza cutter. That's what we call our hot dog strainer, and we're going to use it later. Okay. But also, so what I just did earlier was I added sugar into small thing on the shaker. And if you guys don't have like a two-tin shaker like this at home, or you don't have like a 3-piece shaker like this, don't worry. You don't really need it. Even if you have like a Tupperware that's like airtight, or maybe you have like a jar that's a little bit more sturdy, you can use those as long as it's airtight and liquid doesn't come out. Okay, cool. So we just added about 2.5 teaspoons of sugar earlier. Now we're going to measure about 20-25 ml of fresh lemon juice. Fresh is always better. I'm using what's known as a jigger, but if you don't have this, it's a bartender tool. You can use like those small measuring cups, right? Or you can have a beaker.
Okay, cool.
So I'm just going to measure about 25 ml. That goes in.
So you mentioned that if it's not fresh, you can also use those ready-made packaged lemon juice as well?
But I think it's also important to know that some brands they add sugar to the juice.
Okay. Yeah. So it's always good to squeeze it out.
Exactly. And you also notice that we start off with the non-alcoholic ingredients. That's because in case you mess up the recipe, we're not wasting the alcohol.
Oh, that's true.
Which is the
Yeah,
most
you keep the
important
good
thing.
stuff today.
Exactly. So we're just gonna give it a little bit of a stir to make sure that the sugar dissolves. Because if you add like the gin now, right, the sugar won't dissolve as readily into the lemon juice. Because it's quite acidic, right? It helps to dissolve a little bit easier.
Yep.
Right. So now that's it. I'm gonna add in about a sprig of like rosemary.
Alright.
Like the branch. You don't really want that, but you can just put all leaves. So I'm just gonna put the whole thing in.
Okay. So you don't need to break the rosemary leaves for any aroma.
No. So that's because like some people will tell you, put the leaf in your hand, give it a quick smack to release the aromas. Not necessary, because in the shaker they're gonna be like almost like pulverized by the ice.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So I'm gonna put in about 45 ml of Malfy Originale.
Alright. And if you prefer something a bit stronger, you can always add more alcohol, I believe. But of course, I think in terms of the flavor profile, I think this is something that will help to mitigate any flavor distinctness. It will be really balanced and something that you will enjoy.
Yeah, and also I feel that you could make it a little bit stronger, but sometimes more stronger doesn't mean taste better, because it might throw off the balance of the drink.
Okay,
so you could always, if you wanted to drink more, why not just make a double portion?
Yeah, that's true.
Alright, so I'm just gonna put in some ice into this and give it a good hard shake. Alright, and I think a lot of people, like, you normally make a lot of cocktails for yourself at home, Dave?
Well, I'm not really too much of a cocktail person. I think all in all, I'm just someone who enjoys drinks, either with friends, something that's ready to drink, or I'm more of a whiskey person per se. So I'm not really too much of a gin, but of course I do prefer my alcoholic drinks a little bit sweeter.
Yep.
So of course I think Malfy will, it's right up my alley, I would say.
Yeah, and there's actually no sugar added, so whatever like sweetness you feel is all like perceived. Right. So I'm just gonna give it a quick shake, and we're just gonna smile awkwardly while looking at it.
Flexing your muscles, something you're trying to show it on camera.
There's not much muscles to flex. There's not much muscles to flex on. So what I normally do is after I make the drink, I'll just give it a quick taste.
Okay, so for those who just tuned in, we are actually in the midst of making a, is it a Malfy smash?
Yes,
it's a Malfy smash. So it's a combination of products from the Malfy Originale line, as well as some sugar, rosemary, as well as I believe it's lemon juice. Am I right?
Fresh lemon juice, actually.
Yes, fresh lemon juice. Sorry. So this is a combination that Brendan's actually, cooking up or stirring up to actually show you guys in terms of how we are actually going through the process of making the drink.
So we've actually just got a little bit of a glass that's been chilling in the freezer, so nice and cold. So people be like, oh, why do you do that? It's kind of like when you serve a hot dish, it should be on like a warm plate.
Yep.
You don't want that to be too sudden a difference in temperature. Absolutely. So because there's a smash, you want all those herbs to really be in the cocktail. We're not going to strain it out. We are just literally going to pour it into the glass like so. So you can see, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but the glass is a little bit frosted, but all that lovely rosemary is inside. And you can experiment with a variety of different herbs. You could use, we just use rosemary, but you could use basil, it goes lovely with this. Or you could use mint.
We do have one question. So the question is, besides using besides using sugar, is there any other substitutes? I believe something that is artificial sweeteners, stuff like that.
Yes, that's actually a great question. I'm not sure.
Kristen?
Okay, cool. Thanks, Kristen. You don't have to just use sugar. You could use honey. You could use agave nectar. You could use gula melaka. It's really up to you. And that's the great thing about cocktails. You can play around and really find what you like.
Okay.
So I've just made that, and what I'm going to do is
I'm going to try?
Of course.
This is always the fun part of the job.
I tasted a little bit just now without it touching my lips because I just used the spoon.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I've just got like a fresh little bit of herbs. So I'm just going to give it a bit of a light smack. So what that does is it breaks the cell walls of the plant and the aromas come out a little bit more.
Okay.
So I'm just going to put that in.
I certainly hope my wife isn't watching this. If not, she will expect me to make this for Valentine's. So, yeah. I'll just take a quick sniff.
Yep. So the rosemary, of course, is very strong, and it's important that like 70% of what you taste is from what you smell.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely have a lot of aroma coming from the rosemary. I think that's probably from the little smack that you gave.
Yep.
So let me just try the drink first.
It's a little bit more citrusy. I could maybe dial up the sugar a bit more, but this is like a standard.
Yeah, I think it's balanced for someone who actually likes sour afternoons. I think maybe for someone who is a bit more on the sweeter drinker, I think adding more sugar will help.
Yeah,
I think it's overall a really nice drink in terms of the balance of sugar, sourness, as well as the alcohol punch.
It's not too strong, but not too light as well. But cool, I guess the next couple of cocktails maybe I'll try to lean a little bit more sweet.
Sure, that works.
And that's a good thing, right? At home, when you make it, you can totally adjust to what you like. So the cocktails we're doing today, we're going to be doing a variety. So we just did a smash. Now I'm going to teach you how to make a martini. So everyone was like, oh, martini, and like, yeah, my favorite is like lychee martini, chocolate martini, apple martini. We're not making any of those. We're making an original martini.
Not one of those that James Bond drinks at a bar. Nothing fancy of that sort.
It wouldn't be out of place if James Bond were to order one of these martinis.
Okay, so I'll get James Bond in now.
Yes, please. But then who's going to be the James Bond?
I don't know yet. That's alright.
You.
I don't think so. I gotta lose the belly though.
So now this next drink we're going to be making involves, so earlier we shook the cocktail.
Yep.
Now we're going to be stirring this cocktail.
Okay.
So I have a little bit of a mixing tin. You don't need to use this. You can always use like a little bit of a jug, as long as it's got a little bit of a spot at the end, so it's easier for you to pour.
Okay, so what's the main difference between stirring and shaking? I mean, is it just the motion, or is it something related to the flavors?
Yes, actually. So when you shake a cocktail, most of the time you're going to want to shake. You've got like very juice-based ingredients. You've got any syrups or purees. They become a lot more well incorporated.
Okay.
And on top of that, when you're shaking a cocktail, you're not only just like stirring, you are diluting it a little bit because you're melting the ice, but you are introducing air to the cocktail. That's why like when you shake something, it's got a little bit of foam, or when you have your whiskey sours, nice thick air foam, all that's air.
Okay.
Whereas when you stir, it's also for mouthfeel, but it's for something that's a little bit more, I guess, a bit more viscous.
Okay.
Yeah, because when you shake, it could make the cocktail a little bit lighter. Whereas when you stir, you want to retain that thick. Okay, thick is maybe not the right word.
That sounds very rookie, by the way.
Yes.
So what is your choice of drink, for example?
Well, normally I like to lean to more sour, refreshing cocktails.
Okay.
So like earlier, what we did with Malfy Originale, I would maybe just take out the rosemary, and instead of lemon, I use fresh lime juice.
Okay.
And that is a classic cocktail known as a gimlet.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. So cool. Next, I'm going to be showing you how to make a martini with Malfy Limone, which is our flagship gin. So what's really interesting about this is the lemons we use aren't just any regular lemons. Yes, we do use like regular Italian lemons, but we use lemons from the Amalfi Coast. So the Amalfi Coast is on the southwestern peninsula of Italy. It's famous for its azure blue waters, really just very pristine. Like there's this Pixar movie called Luca. I don't know if you watched it recently.
I think it's a new one, right?
It's a new one.
I haven't got it yet.
Yeah, but it's also really, it shows, it's kind of like what the Amalfi Coast would look like.
Okay. So is it something like a Santorini?
Kind of, because Santorini is in Greece and like it's got that lovely look, but they are famous for their lemons.
Okay.
So the lemons are prized for their lovely aroma and also a little bit of sweetness.
Okay.
And their lemons are normally prized for making limoncello, but in this case we use it to make gin.
Okay, sounds good.
Alright, so we're going to be using two parts to this martini. So a regular original martini, you can either choose vodka or you're going to use gin. And just like great drinks which you should share with friends, why don't those of you watching right now share this video with your friends also?
Yep, sounds good.
Alright, so with a little bit of dry remove, and you know, have you ever heard some people say like, oh, how dry, like I want a dry martini, but you know, what does it mean?
Yep.
So what it actually refers to is how much vermouth you use inside.
Okay.
For those of you wondering, vermouth is kind of like an aromatic wine.
Yeah, that was my next question actually. So I've not heard of this product, vermouth. I mean,
okay.
the classic 7 categories is the one everyone knows.
All the different spirits.
Yes, correct. So what is vermouth? So it's just a wine, aromatic wine, is it?
It is a wine base.
Okay.
And what they do is they add in some spices, they add in some herbs, or do we have any questions?
Yeah, I think we have a question. You just pop that up. Not at the moment, but I think there's someone requesting me to make a drink. Yeah, sure. I mean, I think if you guys are happy to pop by, I can give it a go. But I can't promise you anything in terms of the taste profile. I'm no expert or a former bartender like Brendan. Speaking of bartendering, maybe you want to share with us how you got into bartending. You know, is that a place that you actually meet people per se?
So, great question actually. So, and why not I talk about that while I'm making a cocktail?
Sure,
so
sounds good.
we're going to be making a dry martini, so the proportions are going to be about 6:1. So
Okay.
6 parts gin, 1 part of So I'm just pouring in about 10 ml.
Okay, so it's 7 parts alcohol.
Pretty much.
Okay, sounds good.
So we put in about 10 ml of the vermouth, and next we're going to add in 60 ml of Malfy corn limon. So to answer your question, Dave, I started bartending because when I was in uni, there was a competition for like bartending, so to learn how to make different cocktails and whatnot. I entered it and I was like, oh wow, this is something I really want to do. Long story short, I moved to Singapore to work at like a really cool bar called on Hong Kong Street, and that's where I learned the tricks of the trade. And lo and behold,
Fantastic.
that's a short.
That's a short introduction. I mean, if you guys want to find out more, hit him up. Google. Can I Google you?
You can, but there are Brendan Gu is apparently a very common name.
Okay.
Or you can follow me on Instagram at BK like for Burger King and Saurus like a dinosaur.
Okay,
Yes,
sounds good.
do
you have any only friends?
I have friends like yourself.
Okay, not only friends.
Okay. Don't have any.
Okay, cool. I thought it was one of those content creators.
I am a content creator. I'm not that type of content creator.
Okay.
Alright, cool. So now that I've just put some ice into the mixing thing. I'm just going to give it a quick stir.
Sure.
So you can use a spoon, or at home you can use a chopstick. Doesn't matter. So and then what you want to try to do is not stir like that because it bangs the ice around.
Okay.
So I do a nice little motion where I pinch the top and I use my ring finger to push, my middle finger to pull. So just do right.
Yeah, that looks really technical. So can I just use a regular teaspoon? Would that help?
You could use a teaspoon,
If
but
it's really
if
thin,
it's
right?
something straight and then like long, you can just use a chopstick. It works just as well.
Okay.
So we're gonna stir for about like 10 seconds.
So does this bring up all the flavors from the ice or dilutes the...
It dilutes a little bit. So
Okay.
it chills the cocktail, but also as the ice melts, it takes away a bit of that alcohol bite. Alright, so now that that's done, just gonna give it a bit of a taste.
It seems like you're making some baby milk. So, I mean, would you say, based on your experience as a bartender, is cocktail making for everyone?
I believe so. I think it's just some people think, oh, I don't like cocktails. I believe maybe you just haven't found a cocktail that suits you.
Okay.
Just like how maybe some people will be like, oh, I only drink this brand of whiskey. I only drink this brand of scotch. The thing is, have you tried a lot of others? Maybe you just haven't found it. So now with having that in mind, we're just gonna strain out the martini so you can see no air bubbles or anything because we just give it a stir.
Okay.
And it's into a lovely chilled glass that's ready over there. So we're just gonna finish it off. So normally you see some people garnish their martinis with an olive.
Yeah.
You can, but instead of olives, we really want that lemon, that bright lemon note to come out.
Okay.
So we're gonna be using lemon peel. And what's lovely, you might not be able to see this on camera. There's a lot of essential oils that are in like the skin of citrus. So you can play around, not just lemons, you can use limes, grapefruits, tomatoes.
So anything with a citrus base.
Exactly, yeah. There's a lot of like essential oils that in it. So what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to spritz it like that. And then it looks like nothing.
Did you guys catch that? I didn't catch that at all.
But
I just saw a little squirt.
So, or like I'll go again. I'll go at this.
You guys watch this closely.
You definitely won't be able to see it on camera. Like if you look at the light.
Okay. So it kind of looks like someone just
It's like someone sprayed
sprayed a
the
perfume.
mist.
Yeah, sprayed a mist.
So at this point, I can either drop the peel inside or I can take it away.
Okay.
But the aroma's already there, so I'm just going to do without. And there you go.
All right, drink number 2. So is there anything I need to look out for this particular version of martini?
Well, I mean, normally in martinis, it should ideally be served very cold, and like having the glass in the freezer helps even more.
Okay.
Some people even put the gin in the freezer, so it's like as cold as possible.
Okay.
You want a really dry, crisp flavor, and you really want to be able to taste more of the botanicals. So, kind of thing as the vermouth you're using earlier is sort of like a supporting character to blend together with the rest of the drink.
So meaning to say that the olives has not much of a role, they're more of a garnish.
They do actually. So if you use olives because they're in a bit of like a brine of like a salt sugar solution, so they add a bit of like savouriness and sweetness to it.
Okay.
Yeah, like just a light bit. Yeah.
Alright, I'll give it a go.
Salud. Salud.
Oh, this is wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, right now it's best to you don't sit on this for too long also.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't want to drink it too quickly also.
Wow.
It is strong, but it's not too much, and I feel that because we give it a good stir, the water from the ice sort of mellowed it down a little bit. Also, it's a really great way to enjoy, and that bright lemon note not only came from the citrus, but because
I guess it's from the gin as well, right?
Exactly. So because like saying earlier, we vacuum or cold distill the base alcohol together with all the botanicals, but especially with the Malfy lemons, that helps to gently extract that lovely light citrusy flavor. It's a little bit more different from your regular lemons.
Right. So the whole idea is actually the vacuum distillation actually brought a different dimension to the flavor.
Yeah, exactly. And we actually tried the cocktail. Why not we try a little bit of the gin?
Sure, sounds good. Yeah. Just pop a glass, and there we go.
Sure. So I would say the best way to describe Malfy con limone is it's kind of like a limoncello meets a gin without being sweet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for all you limoncello lovers, I think this would be perfect.
Wow, the citrus burst really.
The best way for me to describe this in a Singaporean manner is it's kind of like the Himalayan sea salt sweet with lemon, and like that sort of just bursts in your mouth.
Wow.
It stays with you for a while.
Yeah, it lingers. It really lingers.
It really lingers.
And for those of you at home who miss the martini process or the cocktail making, maybe I would like to share a bit of a recap. This was actually made with Malfy con limone, as well as a vermouth. So this was actually done with conjunction of some cold glass, not with some, with a cold glass that was chilled beforehand. And of course, like Brandon mentioned, if the gin is in the fridge as well, it creates an even better tasting cocktail. So feel free to try this at home. 2 simple ingredients, 1 simple glass.
The key is all in the measurements also.
Yeah, I mean, don't worry, you don't need to use any classic cocktail glasses, martini glasses,
you don't
rum
even
glasses.
need all these like fancy tools.
Correct. So you can just use regular stuff. So I think this looks like a rice scooper. So if you can use the rice scooper, I think that helps, right?
Yep, a rice scooper.
Something like that. So you don't need to be all technical, or you don't need to buy a cocktail set. Just make use, whatever you have at home, just to stir or shake your products. I think he mentioned before, if it's airtight, water doesn't leak, you're good to go.
Perfect. So now we're about halfway through. Just want to check, do you have any questions from anyone?
Seems to be everyone having a lot of
watching.
fun.
Yeah, it looks like they're watching intently.
Okay, good. I think we are explaining everything really clearly. So if you guys are enjoying this at home or outside or anywhere, feel free to share with your friends, your family members, anyone who will enjoy this session with us. We really enjoy having all of you with us, and I think I'm having fun. Are you?
I get the bartend again, so of course it's fun.
Yeah, that's true. And I believe, if we reach a certain number of followers, you're going to reveal your OnlyFans account to me, or to them.
If it does exist, maybe, yeah.
Or you could create one.
Just for you.
Just for me? Okay, I'll subscribe to that.
Well, moving on, we're going to be trying something that's a little bit more pink. And this actually is because of grapefruit. So we're going to be trying Malfy con rosa. Sorry, Malfy rosa. Sorry. So the rosa in Italian just means pink, but that pink comes from the grapefruit, and
so it's nothing to do with the rose.
No rose inside.
Okay.
But right off the bat, so like you have a piece of grapefruit right now, and actually I'm gonna add this off, and then like you can smell that. But if you smell like a fresh grapefruit in your hand, and then you smell.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. So like actually it's more in the peel, like a fresh grapefruit peel, right? It's got like that sort of, I don't know, the best way to describe what fresh grapefruit peel is to people who maybe haven't smelled grapefruits before. For some reason, it smells like 100 plus. Someone commented.
Yeah. DJ also colorful. So I'm guessing it's you.
I guess. What's your last name?
I'm definitely not.
Are you called DJ? Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, okay. So we've poured a little bit of the Malfy yourself. Why don't we taste a little bit of it?
Well, you have a joke request. So we have someone who is actually requesting a joke. Someone by the name of Rachel. I think you might know her.
Yes. Oh my god. Quick joke.
Yeah, a quick joke. I mean, anything. Could be about Malfy, it could be about yourself, you know.
I don't have jokes about Malfy. Jokes about myself. Okay.
Or maybe a fun fact, maybe not a joke.
No, I can tell a joke. I can tell a joke.
Don't be nervous. Do you need some liquid courage?
Yes. So you know, we were. No, that's a stupid joke. Okay, what is red and smells like blue paint?
Red and smells like blue paint. I have no idea.
Red paint.
Wow.
Very stupid joke, yeah. And to that, let's drink.
Yeah, right.
Alright, cheers.
Cheers to that. So I can clearly taste the grapefruit essence. Not too much about the gin. I think it's a lot more on the fruitier notes.
Yeah, and I feel there's got a little bit more of subtle sweetness towards the end. Yeah.
So I think we have a question. Where is Malfy from? And you know, Kristen has shared. You know, there's some interesting flavors over here. So maybe you want to share more about Malfy?
Yeah, for sure. So I did say a little bit earlier, but for those of you that missed it, so I think we have to say hi to Janice.
Janice? Oh, Jenny.
Oh.
Hello. Hi, Jenny.
So you've got some fancy.
Yeah.
You're the one who should start with me.
Maybe I have to start. You know, I could get rich. Starting an OnlyFans account.
But back to the topic of where Malfy is from. So Malfy Gin comes from the Amalfi Coast, which is the southwestern peninsula of Italy. It's about, I think it's a 4 or 5 hour drive away from Rome. So it's a lovely, super coastal town.
Is it a popular holiday destination?
It is a very popular
Okay,
holiday destination. So when travel resumes again, I hope all of you get to visit. I've not been before, I would love to go. But until then, we hope we give you a little bit of a slice of La Dolce Vita, or the good life, with a bottle or a sip of Malfy Gin.
No, I'm already having a good life here, you know, having someone professional and you know, making the drinks for me, and at the same time, you know, I'm actually learning it.
So hashtag good life.
Hashtag good life, yeah.
Nice, yeah. Okay, next we're gonna move into another cocktail that you don't actually need a shaker for. Oh, someone, Edwin said something to us.
Okay. Well, Edwin has given our presentation 10 out of 10. Thank you, Edwin. So
Thank
I
you
hope
very
you're
much,
enjoying yourself. Well, do share with your friends and family as well. You know, Edwin, I feel that, you know, if it's something that you feel they can benefit from, it's something for them to learn, or just have a good laughter, you know, on our friendly banter, I think do share it with them as well.
Perfect. So everyone sees nowadays a lot of drinks called like a spritz. So I'm gonna make a cocktail in the style of a spritz. So we're not gonna need any shakers, so we're not gonna need to stir anything. All you need is just a lovely chilled glass. Doesn't matter if your glass is not chilled, it's fine, but you know, this is amazing. We've got a lovely freezer.
Yeah. For those who don't have a freezer right below, don't worry, you know, it can be pre-chilled and then just run out at the point of cocktail making, so don't worry. All of the steps that we have just shown in this video can be replicated at home. Don't need to be a professional to attempt any of these stunts as shown by Brendan over here.
Yeah, so actually, you know what, we don't even need to, we in fact would encourage you, please try this at home.
Yep.
So I'm going to add a bit of sweetener. So again, we're using sugar. I'm going to add 3 teaspoons of sugar this time. Make it a little bit sweeter.
Okay.
Because we're also going to be diluting it down with some soda later.
Cool.
Yeah, so 3 teaspoons of sugar. We're going to add 2 types of acid into this. So we have both fresh lemon juice and fresh grapefruit juice. I'm going to use about 10 mLs of each.
Okay.
So
if I like it a little bit more sour, I can just add a bit more.
you can add a bit more lemon juice actually.
Lemon juice, okay.
Or both, you know, it really depends. So we've got both of those in right now. I'm just going to give it a bit of a stir. Make sure the sugar dissolves a little bit faster. Or you know what, if you sometimes can't wait, you could use sugar syrup.
Okay.
Okay, so now it's a bit sherbety already.
Yeah, it seems a bit grainy though. So is that why you prefer to use sugar syrup?
Yes, sugar syrup dissolves a lot more easily. So now that we've got the sugar, the lemon, and the grapefruit juice inside, I'm going to be adding in about 45 ml of Malfy Rosa. So that goes in. we're going to give it another bit of a stir. So this is, in case you're wondering, that's the Malfy rosa that we're using. We're going to give it a bit of a stir. Make sure all of those ingredients are mixing together. That's why sugar syrup just helps it makes it a bit better. Okay. So now that that's it, we're just going to fill it up with ice.
So this is just absolutely stirred and not shaken.
Not even stirred actually, because when we are talking about cocktails, we say that this is built, because we build everything and then it's just done.
Okay. So you mentioned that these products are actually from the Amalfi Coast, which is in Italy, right?
Correct.
So is that the country that drinks the most gin?
Actually, I'm glad you asked. Fun fact, the country that consumes most gin per capita is not Italy, it's actually, no.
Sorry, Benjamin. That's in Switzerland, by the way.
It's actually Spain.
Oh, okay.
In Spain, per person they consume about 1.07 liters per person a year.
A year, okay.
So that's
a lot of. Okay.
So back to the spritz. The spritz that we're adding is actually a little bit of soda water. So it adds a nice little bit of fizziness to the cocktail.
Okay. So this can be any generic brand?
Yeah. But if I had to mention any particular brand, I'll get those ones which are a little bit more, I think there's like Singha soda. Everyone knows like Singha beer, but their soda is really amazing.
Okay.
This is not sponsored, just shout out to them because it's really like you pop open the soda bottle tonight, it'll be fizzy 2 days later.
Okay.
So now that we just added some really good fizzy soda, we can see that there's a little bit of a separation. You can see the soda on the top, cocktail at the bottom. So what we're going to do is add the spoon and just give it a little bit of a lift to agitate it. Make sure it just mixes in together. Okay. So now that that's in, and you can see that, even though we give it a bit of a stir, a lot of the sugar is still left at the bottom. So sugar syrup sometimes still works the best.
Okay.
Alright, and last but not least, we're going to garnish it off with a nice little grapefruit slice. And you want to really like boost up that grapefruit flavor. Use a bit of grapefruit peel and boom. Looks like
spritz again.
Spritz again. And there you have it.
Alright.
It's
I certainly feel like a girl who's getting hitched by him. So he's making me drinks after drinks after drinks, trying to get my number. But yeah, you already have my number. So
I already have your number, so I don't know why.
Alright, I'm going to take a quick sip on this. Oh, okay, I think this might be my new favorite out of the three. It's really refreshing.
Yeah, it's light, it's refreshing, and that's the thing. Malfy is really about capturing that lovely moment of summer in Italy. And the great thing about Singapore is it's summer all the time. It's so hot. I don't know why it's so hot.
I can have this on any given day. I would say Monday to Sunday, it's totally fine. It can be a lunch drink. It can be something that I have in a stressful meeting with my boss. Well, I'm pretty sure my boss is tuning in right now, so hello there. So anyway, you mentioned that you tend to use jiggers, you use measuring beakers. Can it be something that's done freehand?
You could, but it's always not very accurate sometimes. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people will be like, aggravation, go by feel. You could pour, but sometimes if you pour at a certain angle, you might be pouring a little bit less than you normally would, or you might be pouring a lot more than you normally would.
Okay.
So at least having a point of measurement helps make sure you are consistent all the time. Grapefruit in gin.
Sounds healthy. Yeah.
I think that's with the
Talepeng.
Yeah, it can be very healthy. Grapefruit helps to lose weight also, I've heard.
So you've heard, okay. I need to enjoy this superfruit, lose some of that round grapefruit.
You look fine, you look very trim.
Yeah, it's just a camera angle that we have. It's a widescreen, it's a 4K.
4 kilos?
4 kilos? I don't think so, yeah, okay.
Anyway, moving on. We're going to go on to our last cocktail actually. And we're just going to taste a little bit of the gin first. Earlier we tasted Malfy Rosa. Now we're going to be tasting Malfy Con Arancia. So like Dave said earlier at the beginning I'm just pouring a bit of water in here.
That's to cleanse the palate so you can actually taste the flavors a lot cleaner. So that helps when you want to try a different variety of spirits or even gins, for example. If you're going from one flavor to another, that helps to clean up the palate and so for you to actually move forward to the next drink.
Yeah. Also, if you ever feel like you're having trouble smelling, don't worry, it's not COVID. And sometimes some people say that, smell coffee beans. The best way to sort of reset your palate or what you're smelling is smell your skin. it's a natural reset for your body actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Just skin? Any part of the body?
Don't try your armpit lah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I was about to say armpit, so anyway. Okay, back to
Anyway, back to
the
this.
agenda.
Why don't we taste a little bit of the corner and see?
Sure, sounds good.
Alright,
Let me
let's
just
take
pop
it.
grass. There you go.
There you are. Alright, just a little bit there.
So, any of these products made with natural colorings? Are these just like for the fruit, or because how do you get gin that are transparent as well as some colored?
These are done with a bit. Well, these are just distilled. That's why they're clear as water.
Okay.
What they do with this is they do use a little bit of natural colorings. Also, it's as a result of infusion.
Okay.
But they also filter. That's why you don't really see any sediment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's all natural, per se.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, cheers.
Cheers to that.
Oh. So this is a.
It smells sweet.
It does, because blood orange is a little bit more on the sweeter side. It's not too acidic. It is orangey, but not in your typical orangey way.
Sun-kissed orange.
Yeah. Not like sun-kissed orange.
Okay.
So I thought, as a final cocktail, why not we try? We're not going to be using sugar for the next one.
Okay.
We make a classic Negroni, but with the corner and yeah, so it has a bit more of a orangey bite to it.
Sure.
Yeah. So why don't you also let us know in the comments what's your
Favorite cocktail?
Yeah.
Any drinks that you like to drink?
Yeah.
Perhaps even if you would like to join us for the next session, what kind of things you want to feature. Anything you may want to share with us, feel free to write in the comments right below.
Yeah, please go ahead. And, I guess it's interesting also because it's a nice departure from typically having gin and tonics.
Yep.
Yeah. So alright. So next we're going to be making a Negroni.
Okay.
Very easy cocktail to make. It's all equal parts. So to make a Negroni, what you need is, well, today we're going to be using Malfy Gins here. We are going to need some sweet vermouth, which is earlier we had dry, so that's the dry version. This is a sweetened version. And we're going to need a bitter agent, something like Campari. You don't have to have it. But the great thing, guys, is like for all of you tuning in, if you go to the liquor shop's online store, all of the ingredients that are alcoholic at least, you should be able to find them.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we do have some bundles available coming soon, right after this live stream. Feel free to check them out on our website, theliquorshop.com.sg.
That's perfect.
Alright. So, I mean, today is Wednesday, and everyone knows today is ladies' night and stuff like that. So, like you mentioned, all these cocktails, I mean, martini is clearly available in a lot of bars and clubs and all that. But of course, I've never seen a smash, like you mentioned, right?
Okay.
A smash and then the spritz. These are two classic drinks that I've never heard of.
Okay.
Is it because it's not too common, or is it something so simple that it's not usually done in a bar? From your expertise, of course.
I would say it's a mixture of both. Sometimes some people prefer like more complex drinks. Sometimes some people like the old style cocktails like everyone knows, like a Negroni and old fashioned or mojito and stuff like that. That's why maybe not all bars make it.
Okay.
But I mean, coming back to today is Wednesday, or people say it's ladies' night. I think it's a perfect for all the ladies watching. I think this is a perfect gin. And actually, for anyone watching, regardless of what gender you are, this is a perfect spirit to enjoy. And just as a quick recap, just like the Negroni, a famous cocktail from Italy, Malfy Gins is also from Italy, from the southwest peninsula of the country, from the Amalfi Coast.
So Negronis are actually from Italy?
Yes, originally from Italy.
Ah, okay. I only know about pizzas, pastas,
Well, pasta can be debatable,
Okay.
Chinese people also make noodles, right?
Right.
So it's like,
so it's fancy shaped noodles.
For all you know, someone from China came to Italy and taught Marco Polo how to make pasta.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
What's the name? I think in Chinese history you learn about zheng he.
So you zheng the noodles? Oh, I'm sorry, it's a different...
anyway, but not here to talk about noodles.
I'm not being racist, guys. I am just very rusty in my history.
You're also part Chinese though, right?
Yeah, I'm part Chinese, but clearly, some elements are not clearly defined.
Okay, so that aside, we're going to be making a Negroni. So we're going to start, and it's very easy. It's equal parts. So we're going to pour in about 30 ml of our sweet vermouth. It doesn't matter what brand you use. Liquor shop also has some. You can have a look and see what suits you.
Okay, so you mentioned it's sweet vermouth. So what's the difference between this one and the previous one?
Well, the variety of grapes they use could be different.
Okay.
The spices they use also could be different. And also there's a bit more sugar.
So this is sweet, that is sour.
Yeah, the other one was dry. So when you say dry, it doesn't refer to like a flavor profile. It just refers to the the lack of sugar, the absence of sugar. So now we've got like a bitter aperitif. You can use like Campari, but you can use others also, up to you. So we're going to be adding 30 ml of it also. So that goes in. And last but not least, we're going to be using Malfy Gins. You could do 30 ml, or you could do a little bit more if you want the gin to stand out. So I'm actually going to do a little bit more. So I'm going to do 30 ml plus a splash. So that goes in, and just a little splash for half and good luck.
It sounds very Lunar New Year-ish. Sorry, I'm just addicted to this Rosa Spritz, is it?
The Rosa Spritz, yeah?
It's too good, I keep drinking. You can save that, for later. I'm really thirsty right now.
Alright, so we're going to fill this up with ice. And then also get our chilled box glass ready. I'm going to fill the box glass with fresh ice. Some of you may be wondering, why so wasteful? Why keep using like so much ice and all? Well, I mean, you really want to serve the cocktail in the best way possible.
Yep. I mean, if you guys have any questions about any of the cocktails right now, feel free to drop us a comment. If you have any questions about the gin, for example, Brandon will be happy to answer anything related to the gin in terms of the ingredients, the where it's from, any questions, feel free.
But not about my OnlyFans.
Yeah, the OnlyFans is just between us.
But then you need to subscribe.
Yeah.
Alright.
Monthly subscription or yearly?
Yearly subscription, alright.
Okay.
We've given it a good stir.
Alright.
That's good.
So is that a running bartender habit to taste it before you actually serve it?
Yeah, so I'm not so much a running bartender habit, but it's just good practice because if you ever need to do a minor adjustment, maybe add a little bit more something, you can do it before you serve it to guests.
Okay.
Or before you serve it to someone, because if not later, you're like, sorry, I forgot that it is.
Got it.
A bit like icy. Alright, so now we're just going to finish it off and just look at that lovely red.
Alright.
So this is perfect to have before dinner or even after dinner, so as a
Okay. So you mentioned after dinner or before dinner. So if you're having some family or friends over, you want to make it in big portions, do you just multiply the number of?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Or the other thing you can do is you could make a big batch all following the same recipe. So equal parts. But what you do is you can add water to it and then put it into water, put it in the freezer. So then it's already diluted, it's ice cold, ready to go, pour it out. So normally my rule of thumb is to your total volume of liquid, add 20% of water.
Okay.
Alright, so I didn't bring an orange with me, but we're just going to garnish a little bit with grapefruit, and there you are.
Okay.
A Malfy Gins.
So is this my last cocktail for the day?
This is the cocktail for the day.
Okay, let me give it a sniff.
But before we start closing up, I just want to say thank you to the liquor shop for having me. It's been really fun.
Yeah, it's been really. Sorry, the drinks are starting to act up. Anyway, I mean, it's really good to have Brandon, who has an experience in the industry, to make all these cocktails. And I believe we can, while I'm sipping this fairly wonderful Negroni, maybe we can share a bit more of the recap on the products as well as the cocktail process. For sure.
Well, thanks very much, Dave, while you're enjoying your lovely Negroni. Thanks all of you for tuning in. But just as a quick recap, we talked today a little bit about Malfy Gin. It comes from the Amalfi Coast, which is on the southwest peninsula of Italy, and we have an amazing range of gins, which right now is exclusively available at the liquor shop. So we have our original, not the original one, the very first one called Malfy Gins.
Hey, you didn't drink anything.
I had some things, but I'm the host.
Okay. So you got to drink responsibly.
I'm a co-host and I'm drinking responsibly.
Okay.
But yes, we also want to remind all of you that enjoy these cocktails and whatnot, but enjoy it in moderation. We encourage you to enjoy it responsibly. So like I was saying earlier, we have the Malfy Gins that is made with Amalfi lemons, prized for the sweet aroma normally used in making limoncello. We have Malfy Originale, which is our standard sort of versatile all-rounded gin. We have Malfy Rosa, which is made with pink grapefruits, so lovely, light and citrusy, goes great, has a spritz. And last but not least, we have Malfy Gins made with Sicilian blood oranges. Okay,
we do have one question from Kristen once again. Well, thank you for being a really active participant. So Kristen's question would be, will there be promotions for Malfy? So like I mentioned earlier, so these products are available on the liquor shop. We do have bundle deals as well as individual bottle promotions going on right now. Most of which you can find online on our liquor shop website. And another question that we also have is from Tan Lei Peng. How can we get the recipes?
Excellent.
Subscribe to his OnlyFans. He will share it right there. You know, he's a content creator. I'm just kidding. Brendan, go ahead.
What we'll do is, why don't you guys follow the Liquor Shop on Instagram, follow myself at PK Stories on Instagram. We'll be posting the recipes in the stories and also something after the live stream is over. Yeah. But yeah, if there are no further questions.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to just continue to drop the questions. You know, we will answer anything we have. I think we can continue a recap on the cocktail making.
Yes. So earlier we made a cocktail called, well, it was, I guess it's kind of like a rosemary smash. We call it the Malfy smash. We use some fresh rosemary, sugar, lemon, and of course Malfy Originale. We next made a martini that was a dry martini. So it's 6 parts gin, 1 part dry vermouth. We used Malfy con limone. We did Dave's favorite cocktail of the day so far, which is the...
I'm still sipping on this.
Yeah, which is
I noticed.
with the Malfy spritz using Malfy Rosa. And last but not least, we also made a Negroni with Malfy con Arancia. And you know what? This is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many different things you can do with this. I encourage you, if you go out, you want to top up like a lemon sorbet, or maybe even like a lemon flavored sherbet ice cream, why not pour a little bit of Malfy gin on it? Try it out.
So yeah, we do have one more question from Rachel. So where can we find Brendan to make drinks for us? That's a real question. So Brendan, are you making drinks anywhere, or is it just exclusively on this live?
Well, Rachel, why not you tell your friends to follow both the Liquor Shop and myself, the Liquor Shop on Instagram and me and BK Stories to find out where we're going to be doing stuff next. But you know, if you're in the area right now, you want to drop by the Liquor Shop's office, I'd be happy to make you a drink.
Yep. And feel free to enjoy more than just a drink. You know, if you have a conversation with him, I hope Brandon, your wife is not watching, right?
Yeah, no, but I'd be more than happy. Dave and I would be more than happy to have a chat. But yeah, we definitely hope that this is not this is the first, but we hope that it's not the last time. We'll be sharing some amazing content with you guys. Otherwise, I guess that's about it.
Yeah, that's about it. I think we'll leave another 1 to 2 minutes for questions. If there's any other questions, final questions, guys? Well, I do have one question with regards to cocktail making. So you mentioned that it's something that anyone can make at home. So besides cocktails of being alcoholic, so what are some of the substitutes I can use to make mocktails? Because my wife can't drink cocktails.
That's a very good question. So I think for certain cocktails like a martini, can't really make like a virgin martini. Right? Everything in there is alcoholic. But okay, if we look at, for example, the rosemary drink we made earlier, might be a little bit tricky, but maybe if we made like a sort of rosemary syrup, you add lemon juice and soda, it becomes like very easy. It's a polymerizer. Or like your favorite cocktail earlier. So it was.
Clearly, the level has gone down quite a bit.
No, there's a hole in the glass.
Okay. It's leaking.
So,
it's leaking.
We use fresh lemon juice. We use fresh grapefruit juice, a little bit of sugar, and we topped it off mostly with soda, right? So the thing is, you can still make some really great cocktails without alcohol, but there are also some alternatives. So within Pernod Ricard locally, soon we'll have a non-alcoholic spirit available called Cedars, which is kind of like a non-alcoholic gin. So it can be a substitute that goes inside also.
Okay. So that means to say that it can be in the form of cocktails, mocktails. It's just about skill set.
Well, yeah, but it's also about flavors. So that's the main thing. Yes, you want the alcoholic strength sometimes, but when you don't want it, you still want like a nice tasting drink.
Okay, sounds good. So, do you guys have any last questions? I mean, I hope you guys have enjoyed the session so far. It's been.
I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, I've had lots of drinks. So clearly, it's the alcohol that's taking over me right now. So, thank you, Brendan, for being here. I think it's been an honor and a pleasure to have you with us. And I hope all of you at home have enjoyed this session. Of course, follow Brendan at BK_Saurus or
BK Saurus.
Oh, BK, sorry, I clearly haven't followed him. I subscribed to his OnlyFans, just saying, So, but anyway, subscribe to the Liquor Shop as well for all kinds of promos, content. We will share more about brand stories as well as any sales promotions that are going on. Feel free to follow us on our Facebook as well, and our most recent launch is our TikTok. Of course, we have some staff engagement videos, things that we run with collaboration with other brands, and of course, today we have Brendan with us representing Pernod Ricard.
Otherwise, I guess without further ado, we'll say bye to everyone.
Ciao. Have a good, wonderful evening.
Thank you, everyone.